everyone. This is Jared RAND. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Tuesday, July 8, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a Time for Change call tomorrow night after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. We're going to pull the curtain back on a lot of things that are going on. It seems to be a lot of confused people. Your essence, your essential joy is so huge that it flows in every direction. Nirmala. You want to make sure you're in a comfortable position. No outside distractions. Relaxed into the body. Still as a statue, focused on your natural breath rising and falling. Sometimes we forget that the most important place we can turn for answers is inside ourselves. Most of us look outside. We look for our answers outside. We spend a lifetime looking outside. We might get some of them still coming from the inside, but we're still thinking it's on the outside. The outer world tends to captivate us. Excuse me, and it does. Tantalize us and coerce us to lose our inner direction and its materialistic importance and superficial psychodramas. We can become emotionally captured by these experiences and feel completely disconnected from the safe, soothing resource of our inner world. The mind can become so involved in the external that we fall blind to the truth of the radiant sacred beings we actually, truly are. The most enlightening path to liberation is the one that is the most sustainable and always available from within. This approach has stopped the search in the outer world for real fulfillment and knows there is no greater source of true satisfaction than the one that exists within. It's the incessant searching of the mind which causes us not to see. We are not seeing the divine sacred beings that we truly are because we are following the mind's perpetual wanting, yearning, and desiring habit. The more time we give for appreciating what is in our lives, accepting and loving the people who share our lives with us, the wanting program that had caused internal blindness slowly starts to fade out of our lives. As long as the mind is directed outwards, our energy continues to flow away from our center, away from deep inner peace and the stillness where all real sustainable answers to life are found. The truly liberated being is the one who has chosen to give up the perpetual search for happiness out there and lives only at the source of their pure spiritual essence, which is always available within. When we turn our attention to the real source itself, the energetic blackboard behind our inner world, the essential roots of love, thought, creativity, become the real gold. When we discover the possibility of stopping the mind from its addiction to needing something outside itself to be satisfied, we discover the greatest world of freedom and empowerment has always been inside. Where there is awareness, there is the potential for healing and spiritual freedom. In each moment, we can become aware where we are focusing our attention. Is it now on my inner world or my outer world? Eventually, with enough awareness, we see they are the same. And there is only one world. However, the mind is very conditioned and accustomed to perceiving a separation, focusing on the outer world for the causes of manifestation and fulfillment. It doesn't want to take 100% responsibility for the uncomfortable feelings that can be hiding in its basement. When we bring awareness to where the source of the mind is coming from, where our outer world is truly manifesting from inside ourselves, we slowly start to see we have total responsibility over the manifestations in our life. By not judging, but simply accepting what we find on the journey towards the source of all thought, we eventually discover how to relax into this divine responsibility and bathe in the light of our being. The source of our spiritual essence begins to take precedence over the mind, and we relax into a deeper life experience that is full of unlimited potentiality and freedom. Perhaps the most wonderful thing about this universe is that it is perpetually benevolent. It always gives us exactly what we need, especially when we do not realize what it is we truly need. And that's ironic, isn't it? It gives us exactly what we need, especially when we don't realize what it is we truly need. If we are only directing our attention towards this outer world, we burn out the universe. We burn out, and the universe leads us to retreat back into our inner world to reboot. The body and mind are programmed to find balance, peace, and healing. At some point, the pendulum of life will swing us back to stillness on its own accord. The stillness is the doorway to our ultimate creativity, God-given manifestation responsibility. This is the moment our real spiritual journey begins. And the unfulfilling, never-ending path to satisfying the ego comes to an end. Be always feeling and reflecting on the real being. Be that and cling close to it. Let your quest be constant and sustained until you catch the self and thereby find eternal happiness. Ramana Maharishi. One of the greatest truths you may find along your journey, or thus far, on the path to inner liberation is this. The soul, our spiritual being, who you actually are, is so huge, all-consuming, and deeply enlightening that ultimately it doesn't matter if you get whatever your ego wants or doesn't want. Your mind ego will always be trying to want something that it thinks will finally bring it to being completely fulfilled and satisfied. The problem is that it only knows how to want. It doesn't know how to relax and rest in having or pure being. However, the rabbit hole goes even deeper here. For just recognizing the incessant desiring mind habit is not the final answer to freedom here. The real freedom comes from knowing that when we do get whatever we want, we will also get what we don't want. Whenever we manifest any desire, we're always going to get both sides. It's amazing how many people that I believe that we all know that there are two sides, okay? It's like you'll say, there's always two sides to every story. Someone communicating with you and say, well, you know, me and my girlfriend broke up, or me and my boyfriend broke up, and he or she was this, and this. Well, you kind of in the back of your mind are going, that's, okay, so that's their story. What's the other one's story? There's always two sides to every coin. But most of us don't care to look at that side. I bring it up a lot because it needs to be front and center. There is no, and I think some people believe that there is a single payoff from achieving any desire in this world, and doesn't necessarily have to have the other side. We have the yin and yang, the balance, right? We have white and black. And this universe is yin and yang. We have a balance. You have so much on this side and so much on this side, so much on the right side, so much on the left side, however you want to put it. But we know through life experience that there is another side. It's not made up. And there really is no single payoff for achieving any desire in this world that does not also have a cost to it. Everything does. You know, you have something. Let's say you go out. Let's say you come into some money and you go out and you say, you know, I've always wanted to have this kind of car. Right? Car represents independence. You want to be comfortable. You have this particular vehicle that for a long time that you've wanted, so you buy it. But you've never really looked into it as far as the other side of it, which is what? Cost of running it, maintenance. You know, you could go, wow, it's astronomical cost-wise. You know, the other car I drove was nowhere near this expensive to maintain. Okay, or that it doesn't run the way you thought it would run. There's a lot of things involved. It's like you meet someone, right? And let's say they're your dream partner or your twin flame or however you want to look at it. Only later, you find out that they have this deeply annoying habit that we cannot stand. Or when we get to buy our dream car, like I said, we realize it also comes with an insanely high monthly insurance rate and costly maintenance fees. The weekend drinker who loves to party always forgets about the horrible hangover experience that will painfully consume his or her life the next morning. Now, if we discipline ourselves with daily exercise and get super strong and fit, we may only later discover we are becoming super stiff and tight because from not integrating deep stretching exercises as well, even if we think we've found our perfect dream life, there's always going to be a need for a feeling of the gratitude about it all to keep the mind happy, peaceful, and at a higher vibration so we can evolve and manifest an even more amazing experience of this life next year. Now, some of us, this understanding may initially make life feel hopeless. Yet I assure you, it is the doorway to absolute freedom beyond it all. We enjoy comparisons. This is how we learn. If we don't have comparisons, we're really not going to learn. Always getting both sides, right? What we want and what we do not want is one of the most enlightening and deeply liberating spiritual paths to explore. When we realize that this life that we're all living right in this now is always going to be a break-even, win-lose experience with every desire we go after. we start to relax about the whole game, drop into something deeper inside. In the beginning, this dropping in can feel like apathy, thinking, what's the point of it all? If we always get what we want and what we do not want, and never only just the goodies. Yet this feeling will soon fade away when we see that the nature of desire, not having, is pure suffering, and that inner peace with desire actually manifests our desires much more easily. And when the great ride of life becomes enjoyable, see, it becomes enjoyable along the way. Just like okay, it's not being negative either. You know that you're going to experience something, have something, whatever it is that you manifest. You know there's another side to it. Okay? So it's like I've used the analogy, you have a lot of money, you come into a lot of money. And you've never had a lot of money. And so you don't know the other side of that, having a lot of money. Because you've never experienced it before. This is all about experience for every one of us. So doesn't it make sense that we enjoy getting both? If you have a faucet, you put your hand under it, and the only thing you have is a cold water spigot. You put your hand, it's cold, right? If there's no hot water spigot there, you're not going to know that there is hot water. And I'm talking in the beginning, right? Before you've experienced hot and cold water. This universe is, as we know, is full of mystery and paradox. Life's problems may be complicated, yet the answers are always very simple. When we give up on wanting something, we become a stronger magnet for receiving it. You ever notice when you want something? You want something that is really heavy duty. It occupies you, doesn't it? Occupies you a lot. It kind of fades out and then comes back in. It's really strong. It's really powerful. It keeps occupying you, your mind. You keep thinking about it. But when you let it go, and it doesn't mean you're saying forget it or giving up. You go, I must just surrender this. Okay? Universe knows what I want. I've been very explicit about it. Now let's leave it alone. And it fades, see? And it's not on your mind. It just fades. You did your thing with it. And it comes. It's a stronger magnet for receiving it than to have it on your mind all the time. Haven't you known people, or maybe yourself, where you've had something on your mind, you want it, it fades, comes back, it fades, comes back. It gets quite exhaustive, doesn't it? Then you start, well, what if I don't get it? What if this happens? What if that? See, the ego mind comes in and starts playing with you. It seems backwards, right? That you really want something and you're very explicit to the universe about it and you just let it go. You just, okay, I'm done with it. Did my thing with it. It'll manifest. So when we relinquish attachments to something, that something just wants to fall into our lap. I find the most enlightened approach to dealing with attachment to a desire is knowing that once the desire is manifested, we must be emotionally prepared to receive the opposing negative byproduct as well. And this doesn't mean we cannot or should not celebrate the attainment of our goal in an outrageous way. In fact, it's best that we give it our all, do a total let go, and fall deep into appreciation, because this increases our joy, vibration, and ability to growing stronger as a powerful manifesting magnet. And as we let go into total, full self-expression, we can rise even higher into ecstatic bliss because we know that very soon the annoying negative flip side of things will rise and bring everything back to an even neutral balance. Life's like a gambling casino where you always win whatever you bet. If you bet 5, you get 5 back each time. There is always an even outcome, a perfect balance to life, which makes everything fair in the end. Karmically, we always get whatever we put into our lives. Some say life is unfair, yet life actually is completely fair. Everything balances itself out in the end. We simply have to look for the rainbow when we're drowning in the rainstorm. There is always a brilliant wave of light underneath every dark undertow of fear. This universe was set up this way so we could remain neutral, relaxed into the awareness that is at the center of our being, which subsequently is also the center of the entire universe. The trick to life is to be continually alert to the new, because nothing is ever as it seems. We can think a being is a certain rigid way, right, our whole lives, only at the end to realize that they had a hidden, flexible part that we could never see. It is how we see things that makes them what they are. It's what we perceive. It's our perception of people, colors, that taints them, yet does not come close to the truth of their grand totality. Everyone is a permanent grand mystery to be experienced and explored. And when we hold this understanding as sacred, our relationships and communications with others unfold in a much more enlightening way. And once we become conscious about this perpetual balanced nature of duality, the incessant desiring game will completely subside. Then we are eased into a nesting area of true relaxation within our hearts and lives. Here we can experience the grace and joy of our divinity, the healing quality of our being. We can discover real freedom, our true essence, and our essential nature. Observe the mind when thoughts come. Ask to whom these thoughts come, too. Always watch, witness, observe. Do not get caught in thought. Just surrender. Robert Adams. So you begin to realize that we spend most of our time seeking balance. Sometimes we know it to a certain extent. Other times we just don't have a clue. But that's what we're doing. We're seeking balance for ourselves in this life. You know, you ever looked at stuff where too much of a good thing? You've heard that term? There's too much fun, too much sadness. This is when we get out of balance. And we concentrate more on one area, which then becomes overwhelming because we're so concentrated on it, we keep manifesting it more and more and more, deeper and deeper and deeper. We balance. If you're in a depressive state, you say, okay, so I'm in a depressive state, but what's the flip side? A happy state. It's sitting right there. You say to yourself, okay, so let's begin with one thing I can be grateful for. And I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't matter, how depressed you are or how irritable or ornery or whatever, there's no way that you cannot come up with something that you're grateful for. There's zero. And see, when you focus on that, it shifts you. You say, okay, so what is it? There's one thing in this very now moment that I am grateful for. Even though you're in this state of depression, melancholy, depression, forlornment, whatever you want to call it, and you know you don't care to be there long, but it's an experience, so you're in it, and then you say to yourself, just total awareness, you're not in the judging or anything. You say, okay, so I comprehend this, but what am I grateful for in this very moment? And once you say what it is, you shift. Your balance shifts. You ever feel out of balance? You probably have, haven't you? Where whatever you're doing, you just kind of feel, one foot in and 1 foot out type thing. And then you do something and the balance comes into play and you feel great. And it's all connected to what? It's connected to what we think about. And they're just thoughts. You got to keep reminding yourself of that. These thoughts come in really fast. They're not ours. Okay? And a lot of times we'll just focus them. We'll focus on them. We'll talk, we create them into our lives. We live them. Instead you go, I don't care. I'm going to let this pass through. I'm letting this thought just pass through. I'm letting it just float by like a cloud in the sky. Not interested in it. And it does. It just floats by. It's when we are not really clear and a thought comes in and we immediately embrace it because focus on it. It feels like ours. In fact, it is so, you go, well, this is my thought. And it isn't your thought. It never was. But you embrace it, you create it in reality, and then you experience it. You live it. This is when you're in meditation, you move into the now and heart-mindedness. And then you send to the universe what it is you want, what it is you desire. The longer the more time that goes by that you meditate on a daily basis, what happens is that you find yourself not really wanting much. You do. It gets less and less. I'm not talking about being a pauper or anything. I'm just saying, you're not overly motivated to just have. And we all get caught up in it. None of us are exempt from it. You imagine a child, right? And the child gets one gift every holiday, okay? Or as they call it, Christmas. Every holiday, you get one gift. And every year that goes by, the child knows it's going to get one gift. Now, what do you think would happen if all of a sudden mom and dad decide to really surprise the child and give the child many gifts? What do you think the appreciation and gratitude would be? Rather than giving the child many gifts every year. Huge. Be huge. It would be absolutely off the chart, spectacular, magna glorious. It's like us. Okay? You get conditioned on certain things, and you stay with those certain things. And then you go deeper into the rabbit hole and you start discovering other things. And then you begin to manifest those things. And you get enthusiastic and you get ecstatic and you get excited and happy about those things. I had someone ask me not too long ago, what is important in any relationship? What is the key, the beginning of it? Honesty. Genuine, not fake honesty, but genuine honesty. Now that can only be achieved through oneself before engaging in any interaction with anyone else. If you're truly honest with yourself and you deeply internally love yourself and you're in deep gratitude for yourself and you're gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times, then it's a cinch to be that way with everybody else. How are we on this planet right now? From your observation, right? How many of us are truly honest with ourselves? This isn't we're not critiquing or anything. It's from observation, watching, learning. And so, if we aren't honest with ourselves, how are we going to be honest with anyone else? We're not. This is why you see so many relationships fall away. When you have somebody, right? Let's say you're engaged in a relationship with them of some form, shape or another, and they lie to you, and it's to you it's an impactful thing because you get confused and you say, why would they lie to me? There's no reason to lie to me, right? And what does that do? It negates the relationship, and it also affects what? What does the honesty? What does the lack of honesty do? It affects your trust, your happiness, your bliss, your joy. Kind of just, it's like a bucket of mud that you just throw on it. And a lot of people get upset. Now, what happens with that? Now, let's say that being comes back and explains to you why they were dishonest, why they weren't honest with you. That's different. Okay? They own up to it and they take the responsibility for it. But the reason that relationships on this planet are so superficial, for the most part, is because one is not honest with oneself, so therefore they cannot be honest with anything else. If you do not love yourself, no matter what you do, you are not going to truly love anyone else. If you are not happy with yourself, you are not going to be happy with anybody else. See, we've been given the impression that we've got to bed down with someone to not be by ourselves. And we can't see, the irony to it is that you can't be alone. There's no way you can be alone. Deep review of this, you realize is that you're the God, and you're part of all the other gods. You're not separate. And there isn't anything separate. It's an illusion. So you realize that you are God, and everybody else is God, and we're all one. And that never goes away. That doesn't disintegrate. It doesn't dissipate. It doesn't unhappen. It's there forever, every lifetime. And the universe is your best friend. You look up at the sky, and you see the universe. I mean, you see the stars, you see everything. And you look at the vastness of it. You don't look at your body and say, well, I'm a small, dinky thing. I feel overwhelmed with this. No, it's because your mind isn't able to comprehend it. There's so many ways you might want to try this, is that in the next couple of days, 48 hours, I invite you to let your mind ponder about one basic idea. Just one. Everything is perfect in this universe and exactly as it should be. The only imperfections that exist are those created by the mind. I'll join you in the meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body, and focused on your breath, rising and falling. There is an unstoppable fire blazing deep inside you. It may seem like a candlelight flicker, but if you look closely, you'll see it's a cosmic wildfire that can burn away every illusion, every heavy story of suffering you've ever believed was real. On one side of the planet, they call it the Holy Spirit. On the other side, they call it Kundalini. Whatever label you give it doesn't matter. The healing power and electric awakening brilliance that it creates in your life is the same. Truth is that it's the real you in your most electrified form. You are a radiant fountain of divine intelligence and pure consciousness, born to shelter all cages of limitation, to shatter them. This is not a concept of theory about your emancipation. This is a real vibration of absolute liberation, rising up from your holy sex center and divinely sacred root to crown your life with light. Now is the time to rise out of your stuckness, clear out all amnesia, and remember the infinite, immortal, divine, all-powerful, manifesting being you always have been and always will be, ever, beyond, and forever. Let your soul sweat out any fear, doubt, or skepticism and welcome in pure devotion to that spirit which does not and cannot die inside you. Welcome your blazing light. Dance in the divine fire. Feed it with your breath. Fuel it with your heart. And let it consume whatever is false and reveal what is forever real. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and following morning. We will return here Wednesday, July 9, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call, and after 9:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our Time for Change call. We're going to pull down the curtain tomorrow night on a lot of things that are happening on this planet that a lot of people are confused about. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest. Eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on out there, nor within sight of you. Open your heart. Allow the magic to flow in.